vets see is they see conditions that are preventable. And it's kind of heartbreaking when you see that. Or we might see a condition that had we seen 3 or 4 months ago might have been able to easily address, but maybe it's not the case anymore.
And routine care will help identify some of those problems before, as you said, before they become an issue.
Yeah, and a lot of them are going to be noticed before any owner notices it as well. And having an existing relationship with the vet would be beneficial when that arises. Yeah, well, a lot of cats adopt their owners instead of the other way around. They show up at your door, and sometimes that happens with dogs, but usually cats can fend for themselves in the wild a little bit better. And that's why there's so many feral cats, which we're working right hard to address as well. Very hard, actually. There's some great efforts going on in that area. But because of that, their exposure is wider. They're exposed to other cats. They're exposed to other wild animals, soil-borne things. So that alone is really good reason to make sure your cat's getting looked at. Cats can even, my cat used to anyway, even though he's an indoor cat, tend to pick fights with cats outside the window. You have your screen open and they like to let each other know who's boss, and they're pretty vocal about it. There's other modes of exposure that can happen. Just because an animal's locked up in a house doesn't mean they're not subject to ailments that can, and a lot of them aren't really even infectious ailments. It might be, like we talked earlier, diabetes, or maybe a lymphoma or something along that line. That's what one of my college cats developed, a lymphoma, and it was really a hard road to go down. So animals do not like to make known their disease state because it makes them vulnerable to predators. And it's a survival thing. And these are descendants of wild animals at one point, and they retain a lot of their behavioral traits. So a lot of those traits are retained even in your house cat.
Regular, scheduled, preventative care is just as important for cats as it is for dogs.
It very much so is, because you can sure pick up on things. They may see parasites that you didn't see. They may, and it's always nice to examine their stool and look in their fur and look for signs of parasites, endoparasites and ectoparasites, which are more than just annoying. They can spread disease as well. So if they're getting a little bit obese, that has a lot of the same perils as it has for people, diabetes being one in particular. Just like people, keeping a reasonable weight on your cat, which is something I may be guilty of, but that can help, lower the risk of certain diseases. Every animal's doesn't fit in a cookie cutter. They all have unique situations, and it warrants a specific plan for that animal. And your vet's really good at determining just what that plan might be.
Well, so it's worth it overcoming the extra difficulty in some cases of bringing your cat to the vet. Whereas the dog jumps up into the back seat and you're good to go, but cats don't generally do that.
I don't know that as many people take their cats to the vet. Maybe that's what this whole take your cat to the vet day is all about, to raise awareness about that, because not as many people do take their cats to the vet as they do dogs, but every cat owner should have a carrier. So just getting them used to that, and they don't have to necessarily be a airline carrier that's real hard-sided. There's a lot of soft-sided carriers that you can get the cat, and sometimes you can leave the carrier open and it's a soft place. Cats will always find a soft place to sit, and they'll just become comfortable sitting in it. Or that can be that you can put a pad in an airline type carrier, and that can be their place where that's their bed. So
Sort of like crate training, maybe.
Exactly.
Sort of way with dogs.
Yeah, but they just get real cozy with it. So that makes it a lot easier right there. But every cat owner should have a carrier. They are very low maintenance if you do the preventative things, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And just like anything, it saves a lot of grief down the road for both you and your pet.